Right, this little packet right here, this is kind of like what we do for real estate bus tours. And so basically we're seeing 4 properties today. The 4 properties are listed right here, and it's in this order. So in case you're wondering, we're at Alpha Plaza now. We're going to go to Alpha Business Center, Bent Tree Place, Midway Center, and then we're going to come back here to lunch. You can see on the next page the agenda, the itinerary right here, okay? And at each location, we have different brokers that are going to be speaking and kind of giving us sort of their take on where we are with leasing, because leasing is the lifeblood of what we do, because it pays the rent and pays the leasing leaves some money coming in the form of rent, and it pays for all the bills, and it makes for all the distributions. It allows us to go places like Seattle, for example. So at this particular building, this is a retail building, and you can kind of look at the first page. This is our nice cool photos that we have on our website, Alpha Plaza, and you can kind of see what I've done here on each of these buildings. I've got what's called a site plan that's on the page after that, and it's color coded to the tenants and the space we're in, color coded to when their lease expires. This is something that we have. So if you look right now, anything in light blue, their lease is up this year. And so the hope is you get more of the dark blue and the green that are many, many years off. But this kind of gives you an idea. We're at the corner, we're kind of in the tangerine. Is that a good color for it? That's where we are right now. We're on that corner spot right there. And if you go to the next page, you can see this thing called a rent roll. And that just shows you who the tenants are and what the suite is, what the lease starting date, the square footage, security deposits, that sort of thing. This is more technical, but this is something that is a term that we use quite a bit. This is what it looks like. Each building has this. It's called a rent roll. You go to the next page after that, you've got kind of on each of the buildings, I've got a list of what it is, like the stats on the building. So for example, this building we've owned since 1994. It didn't look like this. We redid this about 6 years ago, and we'll go through and kind of talk. I'll show you pictures before and after. Melanie Hughes is here, right here. She's our lead retail broker for this building, does the leasing for this. She works with a guy named Eric Calais. He's not here, but she is the one that runs the show. And so she has good insight as to where things are. We're currently 65% occupied, which seems like it's low, but we just lost some tenants we didn't want to keep anyway. So we've got some new tenants with better credit coming in backfilling. So this is just not anything to worry about. Retail is possibly the best asset class right now. And it's across the nation. It's like 96% occupancy. They basically, when .com came on and people started buying online, they freaked out. No retail was built. In fact, they bulldozed like 150 million square feet of retail. And so, supply, demand, retail, the word on the street is the online stores actually need physical stores, and it actually helps with their kind of regional profile. And so they actually are seeing a lot more people. You have to have a retail presence, a brick presence, to be an online store. It's kind of a weird thing, and it took a lot of years to get all that stuff going into motion, but that's what we are today. And that's from Markham Center. He talked about this last week, and so he's someone who wants to meet with us eventually and say hello.
Okay.
Yes.
And to that point on retail, can you also talk just briefly about the transition to the lifestyle center as well?
Yeah, so you can go to the next page. You can kind of see where our building was beforehand and where we are today. And beforehand, this is the top photo. It was kind of a dumpy little 80s looking center. It didn't know what it wanted to be when it grew up. We spent a lot of money on upgrading this, and now you see what you have right here, and it's quite a contrast. And as a result, Melanie can talk about this. You're seeing the rents grow dramatically in this building.
Do you remember what the rents were back when it was just a flex space? It went like
it was
sevens?
Probably $7 or $8 a square foot, and that included. That was an all-in number, 8 number. And so Melanie can tell where we are right now later. but is retail is uniquely positioned by location within the center. Some are more expensive than the others. Like this is a primo spot. Next door is a primo spot, and we have a few other vacancies that will be a lot, like triple what we were doing a couple of years ago. Yeah.
So it looks like the percent occupied right now is pretty consistent with the historical occupancy percentage. Do you anticipate it going up in the next year?
Oh yeah. No, there's no question. We have leases we're in the process of. Now some of the stuff in this center, the stuff that we have kind of even on this center, and then we have it in another one we're going to next. If you're on the street, on the driving corridors, those are definitely more retail. Some of the stuff in the back we have not really earmarked it as retail because it's just not visible.
Right.
And so, but we do want to have, we have kind of a hybrid here.
Okay.
But this is more tilted in the retail hybrid. We have the ability to have non-retail tenants here. And some of those are being filled in the back here, like the back of the bus, you know.
I see that the January August value is like 170 per square footage. How much is that up from last year?
I don't know that. I'll have to get back to you later.
And can you just briefly talk about if something is not retail, then in this kind of, what is it? What's it called?
It's called either office flex or industrial or office.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the difference would be what?
Use, typically use. So office is more traditional, like what Sarah and her team lease. It's, you know, you come in, you like our office where we are right now, upstairs. The flex stuff, we will see, it's not really over here as much. We'll see it at our next building, but today's kind of more of a retail office tour. We'll have other stuff we'll show later. It kind of makes a lot of sense. And it just so happens, something to keep in mind, on all these buildings that we have today, we have bought them and either held on to them for a few years and they were fine in their current form, but they got tired looking. And in every situation today, we've updated the building. So you're seeing kind of a before and after. Some are a little bit more, like we own this one for 94, since 94. So we kept it in its existing condition for like 20 years almost, you know, and then we updated it.
So were you involved whenever your father bought this? Your dad bought this. Were you involved in that purchase?
No, I was still just an idiot out of college. So yeah.
That was 1994?
1994. So what do you think he saw in this space? Was it
Cash flow.
Was it next to the Galleria, or was it the opportunity to upgrade?
No, it was never an opportunity to upgrade. We had to convince him to upgrade.
Did you?
Yeah, and so
It's always kind of been a very industrial area. So,
yeah, it has been. The use has changed. Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, I was just going to say, there's so lack of amenities here, and there's so much intellect and office and showroom, so your retail, that's probably what you pitch, is that there's no place to eat, so this is probably does really help.
And when you say flex, you're saying flex office.
Yeah.
Explain what is flex. Well, I mean, for them.
Flex space is.
We're throwing terms around. I want to make sure everybody understands.
Like the buildings are, I don't know, Carolyn, how you're into this, but like an office building, the landlord is responsible for the common areas, so like if you have multiple tenants, they take the restrooms, the elevator lobbies, they're paying for that, and then you're just paying for your space. In retail, you kind of get a shell, you're doing the HVAC, you're putting in your own restroom, parking's different, zoning's different, it's just a different structure of how the building lays out and how the leases are.
And so, like your flex type product, I'll give you an example. It's like a medical sales company. You have like your sales office in the front, and say you do like hip replacements. You got your hip replacements in the box in the back, but you can't keep it in a hot warehouse. So it's sometimes it's air conditioned, but it's just a big area where trucks can come in, deliver, and leave and deliver. And they have overhead doors a lot of the time, that sort of thing. So I'm just going to pivot because we want to give Melanie some time to talk. How many years have you been doing this with us? It's been like...
I stopped counting at 40, so that's my answer.
Yeah. No, but like for our family.
Oh, for your family?
Yeah.
20 2020 is when I started.
Okay.
And thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Eric Blaze is on this project with me. We're with Bradford Companies. He's going to meet you all at one of the other properties at Midway Center. But I really appreciated the opportunity, and I want to thank you guys for that. To add to what Clayton and Sarah both said, this project was born a flex property. It's zoned light industrial. So I guess it was kind of reborn as retail, but it is a bit of a hybrid. And for that, I mean, we don't have retail parking. We have 31,000 parking as opposed to 10 per thousand parking. So to speak to what Clayton said, yes, retail in Dallas nationwide is doing well, and we're getting our numbers up, but it's not true retail. So we had to be very mindful of the parking situation as we put retailers in here. This was a perfect fit, the Aussie Grind, because it's more of a morning, lunchtime, early afternoon cafe. And Carol said for me to say something that they would know. We're hoping that Aussie Grind expands into 1,618 feet next door, because they're going to do kind of a coffee cooking school kind of thing.
Coffee what?
You know, to tell people, show people how to
Cooking school?
make, specialty coffee drinks and all that. Right next yeah. So that would be great. But so we put people in here, like for instance David Dyke, which I know Craig knows them, great people. They're kind of more white appointments. They're not true retail. They're not going to bring 10 per thousand parking in here.
The 10 per thousand means 10 parking space per
Spaces for every
1,000
1,000
square
square
feet
feet.
of rent. So,
Right.
Think about Highland Park Village on a Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like Gowns of Grace, they're kind of, it's a bridal salon. They're more by appointment. Bella Bras is really true retail. Euro Living, they're probably more true retail. Urban Spikes, they're more outgoing with their product. I mean, they do have people go in and shop there. So we had to kind of
It's kind of like a for the trade, kind of like design district type of.
That's what I was gonna say, like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be a more of a fit with the retail, and be just, for the trade type stuff, since like you've got your carpets, you've got your furniture, and this is kind of, you can rebrand as kind of like a design district north.
Well, some people call it that. Some people think this whole stretch in here is a mini design district somewhere. And it really is. And actually, Rural Living is wanting to expand, and the reason we haven't been able to do it is because we're not sprinkling here, and there's a limit to how much space they can have and sell sofas, mattresses, that kind of product. So anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But we are, I'll speak, I know y'all are at time.
No, we're
Real
fine,
quickly, we have got a tenant, like has been very patient on this tenant. We've been working with them for a year, but we're finally in leases with a tenant. It's called Night Owl Coffee, but they're not, they're not retailers, they're not like this, they're caterers. And they've got a big following. They do all the HEB openings, and they do corporate events, they do weddings and that kind of thing. Anyway, they're going into 260, which is 4,180.
They are going to go in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I know, like
Until he sees the signature on the lease.
So they're reviewing the lease. We're getting, right now, they're reviewing a plan.
So if you look at your site plan, the white are the vacancies.
Over here, there's that little.
Yeah, and there's that, I call it the Chinese restaurant spot.
Chinese restaurant. Yeah.
Elbow spot.
Do you know they were
Yeah.
our at Park District, the partner? Remember the coffee station
Yeah.
when we lived there?
Yes.
Yeah, and then they do a lot of
They do a lot.
Class A office.
Yes.
They go set up everything.
Yeah.
I did not know that was them. Okay, I didn't connect the dots. Yeah. So anyway.
And then we've got, they were gonna sign their LOI either yesterday or this morning. They're sending it to Jim along with their financials. It's a franchising and handyman, Mr. Handyman. Very strong financially.
And they're taking
But
this
they're
back
going
spot.
to the back.
Yeah, they're gonna
So
take
they're
this.
not-
who's this?
Mr. Handyman. He's a franchisee. And they're, but they're going to a back, so they're not really taking a more of a high profile retail type space, but it's a big space.
It's a big
at
space,
the back.
and it costs a lot of money to re-tenant these spaces. I mean, putting in a new tenant,
Yeah.
and we're not going to spend a whole lot of money
No,
on
well,
this.
they're taking it as is.
Yeah.
Because they're in that business, they're in the construction
They
business.
could fix it themselves. They're
They're doing it
handyman.
themselves. We
So
aren't
this is
paying-
like two big blocks right here that are going to be. 263 is a
So they're taking it as is.
no, it's the night out. I call this the Chinese. I call it the Chinese restaurant spot. Because Chinese
So
restaurants
Real
always-
China is on the corner, and it's got a tiny little door and a huge space in the
Yeah,
back.
right. So
Yeah,
They're
they
hard
thought
places
so.
to lease. They're really hard places to lease. And then who else do we have?
Okay, and then the other thing I'm so excited about, I mean, we've been trying for 4 years to get a nice high-end salon here.
A what?
We had
Salon?
high-end salon.
Like a nail salon?
Hair.
Salon.
Hair.
Okay.
There were 3 we worked with. We got all the way down to LOIs, pricing and everything, and it just got to be too expensive, money out of pocket for the tenant. With the plumbing and everything else. Anyway, so I've been working with, just in the last couple of weeks, and I met him yesterday. We met over at Suite 110. So 120 and 110 are big challenges because they're shell.
Meaning there's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there.
At all.
They're nothing. No ceiling, no insulation, no heating and air conditioning. 120 doesn't even have electricity. So, anyway, so they have got, it's a woman, I met her yesterday, she's from South Korea. She's at Salon D, which is right here. She's got 5 stations there. Her and people that work for her. Sent me her tax returns yesterday. Very small. I did not even know that much money. As a stylist, anyway. But she's paying $8,000. Wow, she's doing this right here. So she's finally kind of ready to break away, do her own thing. So she's bringing 5 ladies with her. She is going to, she is looking to come out of pocket herself $250,000 for the finish out.
Yeah.
Landlord have asked for a small landlord contribution of I think $10 a foot, which is roughly 25 grand. She said her friend, she wants to make it happen. I'll send you guys the particulars because we had a long meeting yesterday and kind of some other things have come into the mix, but it is our best shot we've seen in 4 years to get somebody.
But it's a nice use because if you want people in retail to come back consistently, and then while you're getting your hair cut, or before or after, come have a cup of coffee or have lunch or whatever, and just constantly feed off the others. There's an art to retail.
The
She would be in 110.
She'd be right across the parking lot, between the urban spikes.
Yeah.
What could you do with 120? It doesn't seem to have anything in it.
Well, you can only do so much.
Right.
Like you can put in the restrooms, you can put in the air conditioner, and then someone will come in with their concept and figure it out. You don't want to put in a whole bunch of like office space because then someone will come in and say, I want it all out.
Right.
It's more expensive to take out or put in. So when you get to where that's our only vacancy, then it becomes a little bit more. We have one vacancy, for example, at Midway Center, one of our retail centers. One of the tenants is expanding into there. So we just never know what can come from this. The shape that you're seeing in that site plan is perfect, or that floor plan. I have floor plans behind here of all the vacancies in here. You can see that. So you got 110. This is what it looks like right here, where the salon wants to go. There's restrooms in the middle. They'll probably add a lot more plumbing. 120. This is all you get.
That's what you got.
What do you call that when you go in and you get a space like that? What's it called?
White boxing.
White boxing.
Yeah.
So white boxing means what? You're just turning it into a white box essentially.
You paint the walls, you make the ceiling look nice, like more exposed like this, and then you clean the floors and that's it.
Would we ever let one of the adjacent people who are leasing expand into that space?
It's usually the first ones you ask.
Yeah.
Yes for Urban Spikes, yes for Bella Bras, but no over the furniture store we don't want them to go into because you'll cause the square footage to be at a point where you have to sprinkle the entire building. And since this is built in the late 80s, they didn't require sprinklers. So you don't want to have that because you're not going to do that. You don't want to have them increase. We could possibly, if they have some other uses, they want to have like a wallpaper store. We could let them do that there because it's a separate lease. It's not next door to each other. This is the Suite 205 with a handyman storage. You see all the offices. It's really set up not for retail. It's set up for the use that it has in hand. And this is all relatively new stuff, so that's why they're taking it as is. We built this out like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah, for a tenant.
What's that?
For a tenant.
Yeah. This is. Let's see here. This is 220, which is another one that's kind of a weird shape. This one's, I'm not sure what's going to go in here. It'll probably be more of an office use. Am I good?
What's kind of interesting, okay, so Paramita, 205 and 220, that suite, and they had a lab in there. And Paramita called me yesterday and said, is 220 still available?
Yeah.
That space we just moved out of? I go, well, yeah, actually it is. And they said, well, they do consulting too. I didn't realize that. And they said, well, we've got another lab that could be interested in that. I don't know that we want to go there,
Yeah.
but it's kind of interesting because it was a lab and it's kind of back in a funky corner, so.
Yeah, it's a hard one to find.
It would be a hard one to
And you also want to keep parking not so crazy too. So an office use keeps the parking kind of constant. You know, whereas a place like this could have a flurry of activity, and then you have, like, you come here on a Friday night at 7:30, and half the parking lot is filled up from the different uses we have that are entertainment type uses, and it's kind of crazy. It's more crowded on Friday nights than it is Monday mornings. Yeah. Here's, see, this is 240. This is one that, yeah, it'd probably be office space as well. Who was in this one? Do you remember that offhand? Let's see.
That is, the engineering groups.
Yes, the engineering
The
group.
engineering group, we have engineering
Right.
group in there, and it's got warehouse in the
That's
back.
right. This could be something that would be more office related.
Yeah.
Maybe, and it has a. The thing about it in the back, it has a dock high door, which is different. The dock high means sometimes you have an overhead door. It's on the grade level, on the ground level. Sometimes it's raised up to where a truck could just back in, and those seem to work for certain people. Certain people want that because they have bigger trucks delivering stuff.
That's a flex, that's more like a flex
This
space.
is a flex spot. This is the one where the Night Owl Coffee wants to take. This is a really hard spot to lease, and if they want to take it, we're great.
Yeah, we're great with
That's
it.
the Chinese restaurant
And
space.
it's a really nice space on the inside, surprisingly.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Well, Mr. Hammond, they have Chinese restaurants.
yeah,
Oh,
We do that.
Are
yeah,
they
yeah.
blowing this up or are they keeping it?
They're taking quite a bit of it out. Well, they're keeping this. They're actually adding another overhead door because there used to be one there.
Yeah. It's fully
And
air
they're keeping the restrooms where they are. They're doing kind of more of a commercial kitchen looking thing there. Not cooking. Well, they changed brokers. They had JLL and now they've got Rich Young. Yeah, they changed brokers.
They've been looking for us for
You know, it's sort
years.
of like when they
the handyman?
it was,
Or coffee.
Oh, the coffee. Oh, yeah. Okay. Bullet coffee or the.
Well, it's only 5 minutes from here. Anyway, so what we're going to do next, does anyone have any other leasing questions? Because Melanie is the one who manages this.
Okay, so you said that this is a really hot area and plenty of interest. What's your best guess of when we would get this leased up? How long?
I'm going to say 6 months.
6?
Well, and,
I was gonna
let
say
me
in
ask,
2024, if we get the summer, Night Owl, Mr. Handyman, then you've got just kind of some little pockets here and there.
Yeah.
well, let me ask that question.
Probably a
this
year
way.
then.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
if we get, the handyman lease, what does that take us up to?
What would that be? That'd be about, another 15,000 feet, so.
You can do the math. 15,000. You can easily do the math if you look at your rent roll.
Yeah, 85.
So you add
85%
the
leased.
numerator and top of the denominator. Yeah.
And are we retaining this one that's coming up this year? The light blue one?
Which tenant is that?
That is, windows, you said?
Yes. Yeah.
And
We're doing window season now. We've signed.
Well, winter season, okay, no, they're gonna move out.
They are going to be out?
Yeah, I think they're gonna move out, I think it was September, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're just kind of scaling down, semi-retired, go home. However, Gowns of Grace wants their space. Gowns of Grace could very likely.
Grace might expand
It's
into their
a
spot.
primo spot because it's right on the road. It's easy access,
Yeah.
There's the
visible.
parking too, because you've got the parking.
And I think it's like 1,875 feet or something like that.
It's a perfect square
But they
footage
need
on retail.
3 more viewing rooms, Gowns of Grace has 3 more viewing rooms, and it's perfect.
So the Gowns of Grace needs the street visibility for their marketing, or why would they? I know they're on this. I know. Yeah, I see them. Yeah. So they would have 2 spaces, 2 different spaces separated by two different buildings. Then.
No, it's contiguous.
Oh, they're next to each other. I beg your pardon.
Winter seasons is kind of hard to spot.
Oh,
They
I
don't have
see.
solar
Okay.
outside.
So let's just use this example. So we have the guys at Cantera Doors. Is it Cantera Doors you said? Their rate is $16, and that's probably, is that triple net or is that
Triple
gross?
net.
Okay, so
Everybody
what?
here is triple net.
So what would be something you would market that space as just when they move out?
Like Cantero doors, yeah, I would market them at least at 16, and because they're facing out the road, probably a little higher than that.
Probably like 18 or 20 or something like that.
Probably 18.
Start at
and
18?
get 20, because
Yeah.
we're still triple net.
What are you
That's
at?
504 foot, 504. So that puts, if 16 plus the 504, you're at about 21.
And so just give that as a point of reference, 21 versus 8, where we were a few years ago. So you almost tripled the rate.
And when they say triple net, when you say triple net, can you explain what that is?
So when you rent a spot, like you say you go into a hotel, you go into a hotel room, you pay $100 and you get a room, all the water, all the electric, everything you want to in a hotel, right? If you move into, that's called a full gross lease. Everything's included. And so you don't pay any additional surcharges. Now in a building, like an office building, and Sarah can attest to this, you pay a base rate and then you pay, what's that?
Not anymore.
Not anymore? You don't pay a base rate anymore?
We're mostly all triple net.
Then you pay the base rent.
Yeah.
Base rent, and then you plus additional charges that are like cover all the stuff for maintaining a retail center or an office building, like elevators, grounds, lights, water, toilet paper, janitorial that comes every night, electricity for the building, which can be very expensive, the taxes, you pay
All the
taxes.
costs, ownership are passed through the tenant.
Taxes,
Right.
insurance,
And so that's called a
And-
triple net.
And management.
Management fee,
Yeah, there you
well,
go.
yeah, all of them are paid for. So you pay your base rent, and then you pay on top of that all the expenses that the landlord passes on to the tenant.
Anything that's for the benefit of the tenant.
Right.
So
So,
the tenant benefits from it. Okay.
so we migrated this building to triple net. We have you can see on the front of the, and that's kind of that's been a hard transition because just people don't like to, they get used to paying a certain amount of rent. But in this center, we have 97% of the tenants are triple net leases. So this is for most intents and purposes, a fully triple net building. So it's better from an ownership perspective. Tenants don't like it because their exposure is based on how much taxes go up. They may have to go up a lot, or insurance goes up a lot, which has happened. They're paying 100% of it.
So that's the importance of good.
Keep the triple nets in
We'll
line.
know to keep good books and
Yeah.
not be charging for things that you shouldn't be charging
Like
for.
there was a guy like sometimes these tenants will come and audit, and there was a landlord who was really bad. He was no longer in Dallas, named Yonan, and he literally, like, they came in and like one of his tenants found $1 million in discrepancy between what he charged them and what was allowable.
No, he was like private jetting it, going to his properties and billing next to his tenant.
Yeah,
So now there's all the brokers like put all these things in their leases to protect their tenants from it because there's so much history of bad tenants. And so it's her job to sell these guys as good guys. And that they're, well, that's the importance of, well, it's having the importance of having good accountants and a good, like, that's why the staff's so important.
So because prices are going up so high, it's having everybody second guess and like, wait, is this really worth it? And I mean, if you know that that's legit and that's market rate.
yeah. So
And people do like local family ownership. You know, that's one thing we really
They get
sell.
calls.
Because, you know, they don't want to, because there's so many out-of-state owners.
well, like you can see, like the guys here, the husband and wife team, they were like a kid on Christmas,
Yeah.
excited with us showing up here.
Oh, I
Yeah.
mean, the first thing that we asked me was, okay, are you a Kennington? No, I'm a worker bee. And they said, oh, you're a worker bee.
I don't meet the height requirement.
Can't you tell by the
But that's also like local ownership. Local owners of restaurants like to be with local owners of retail too. You know, it's just kind of you see eye to eye.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Judy North does photography, and she's been a great tenant too. Again, you know, someone who is kind of like more appointment. You know, she does mostly Bible school, senior portraits kind of thing. That's a little bit her niche. So anyway, I mean, it's really worked well, I think, with the blend of tenants that we've gotten in here, and we're just trying to stay mindful of the parking. So that's why these guys are so perfect.
Yeah. So.
And if they expand, it's perfect,
Yeah.
because that would be like, for the parking.
But that cheapest, what is that space next door currently being marketed at per square foot?
We're probably 16 triple net, so around 21, plus electricity on top of that.
Yeah.
So we're also getting, that benefit. But,
So-
before you guys kind of, converted this to retail, I mean, like you said, you had gross rates. I mean,
It was 7%,
you didn't get
$7
the-
industrial gross,
you
right?
just got a
So, which
rate,
is even
all the
lower.
rate, and all those taxes, insurance, commissary, and maintenance were good anyway.
Yeah.
So it's
So yeah.
It's good.
So
I know you were saying that it's really busy on Friday, and weeknights or
weekend.
weeknights or weekend nights?
weekend.
The game,
Right, so I'm just
game
wondering
room.
if there's an opportunity for retail that feeds into something that isn't one of those big parking.
Well, like this is a good example. So they're going to figure it out pretty quick when they realize that they may be open on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights for dinner. Because
Right.
there's such an unmet crowd to capture. The demand.
And they're building apartments on the other side of the gallery up by.
Have you done game show?
No, but I was thinking we should.
We did it for our birthday, so
Do it
fun.
all
No,
day.
for a family thing.
I think we should do an escape room.
That would be fun. That would be hilarious.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Again? You already did one,
I
right?
didn't do it. No, I sat outside. So what we're going to do is.
That's a private joke. That's a private joke. I know Clayton hates the concept.
Yes. So we're at Alpha Plaza. We're going to go to Alpha Business Center, which is down the street, and we have a different broker, same brokerage firm with Bradford, and this is Brian Pafford. He is the broker that's there. He'll meet us in like 5 minutes. So we'll do a quick little lap around here, and then we're going to end up here, so we can always come back here for lunch and we'll
And why is there a different broker for this space and the next building we're going to see?
Because Melanie has more of a retail expertise,
Okay.
and Brian is more of your traditional industrial and office flex broker.
Okay, so the building we'll see next will be more of the office flex.
Right.
Industrial. Okay.
Right, it's called Alpha Business Center. ABC, we like to put it.
Brian, he's been at it a long time, so. And then you'll be here, who's also vice building, you'll see him at Midway Center. Midway
This
Center will be
location,
the same as when we-
there,
There you go. Thank you for
Well-
meeting us.
Oh, see, this is, everything's going at, We're just gonna drive around this center. You can kind of see some of the architectural elements. This is one of the vacancies right here. These are like, this is an escape room. Just kind of keep going, meandering around. A dance studio. We've got the coffee store. See right here, this is the Chinese restaurant, 260. It's like, that's the entrance, but it's a huge space when you walk inside.
We do need to do.
Wait, which
a game
260?
show battle.
Yeah.
260 show.
And then
It's
this is the
so
battle
fun.
show right here, game show
It's
battle
so fun.
rooms.
How funny.
We need to do it. Huh?
Um,
do that. We did it. And Charlie
This
did
is
it
a
with friends.
this is a gallery right here. David Dyke was in Uptown, and then this is where the next door is where the handyman. This is why we put like something that sits to use. This is not good retail,
Right.
but there's a perfect use in the back here, in the back of the center. Yeah. They can park their cars in the back too. This is a photography studio right here. So let's take a right here. Here's the around the building.
Oh, that's good.
So these bushes are not on our property. I would never leave bushes like this. We'd have no control over them. So
Oh, so those are next door
yeah,
neighbors'
yeah,
bushes?
yeah. Uh-huh.
You should come and complain.
So this is right here. This is called an overhead door right here. You see the bumpers for the truck, and so it's really nice for backing a truck in there.
Are
So
these dock high?
they're called dock high. Yeah.
And then grade levels on the ground?
Yeah, grade level will be up here on the right side. There's a slight elevation change here, and you'll see that we'll.
Perfect for trucks. Where's grade
So
level?
that would be good for like a designer or some kind of furniture moving.
That's
Yeah.
what we had.
So this still is dock high. The vacant space is dock high. And you see you're getting kind of medium now. So
What's happening over here on this this trail thing? Are they the rail trail? At some point they were going to convert that into something, weren't they?
at some point, yeah.
Okay, not anything on the plan.
So it's getting smaller, and now these are like FedEx trucks. So this is grade level doors right here. Okay.
Okay, so that's down at the
So one thing to keep in mind, if you'll just stop, there is a, we have 2 restaurants at the front, and restaurants are hard and kind of expensive upfront costs because they have this thing called a grease trap you have to have for this water and stuff like that. And those are expensive to put in. So we have 2 big grease traps right here, so we will always probably have 2 restaurants on this location. If we wanted to add one, additional one, it'd be a lot more expensive because it's additional cost of the grease trap. Is what we call
So
it.
you can only do 1 restaurant per grease trap.
Pretty much, yeah. You don't want to really share it. That's not. most
Commingling
restaurants
of
don't like
grease would not be good.
it.
Be
Yeah.
environmentally unsound.
So
Yeah.
there's the coffee shop is one.
So when we redid this center in '94, when we redid this center in the early 2000s, Josie brought up a good question. We had a lot of tenants in here. I'm gonna take a right and go to the next one. We had a lot of tenants in here that were changing the use of this center, and we bought this other building we're going to next that's fully vacant at the time, and we moved tenants from this building to that building because the use was still in line with what they had here, the flex use. So we kept a lot of our really good tenants for quite some time.
And everything is good with these tenants who are in this complex.
They know what they signed up for, yes.
What if we just went in and we just upkept the bushes? I know they're not on our property. Would they complain?
It's a cooking class. Isn't that
Probably,
fun?
yeah. They would tell you to cease and desist.
Against the law.
Yeah, can't do that. I think you should probably see this, because if you look at this before and after, it's pretty remarkable.
Wait, that's just, this is it.
So this center we bought, and it was completely vacant, and it was really dumpy. And so we made it look, we painted it, we exposed some of the metal elements, and we re-landscaped it. And
Hope you got a guy right here trying to get out.
let's go ahead and move forward then. That's Brian right there. Okay, let's go ahead and park right here in front of this.
And when did this reno happen, Clayton?
Let's see here. It happened right after we bought it.
A lot of people will be like,
I'll show you in just a sec. Give me a second here. We bought this in 2017. Okay?
You gonna get out?
We're gonna get out, everybody. Yeah. This is called Alpha Business Center. We bought this fully vacant in 2017. We basically, if you look at the floor plan, we're basically right here. So we saw one building right here. This is one of the 2 buildings, kind of the L shape. This is the last L shape. And we have a whole bunch of uses in this center. We've got, like this is a physical fitness studio, kind of rehab center right here. They have a lot of weights in there. This one right here is a health company that's called Access Health.
And they're all 100% office.
100% office. They spent like $125 a square foot on their space. And it's way more than we would have offered. We have a tenant here, which is interesting. This is Sarah's broker Bryce brought this deal. It's called Makeup Ready, or Camera Ready Makeup.
Camera Ready Cosmetics.
And they have a retail center on the front because it has frontage, and they've got a warehouse in the back where they keep all their stuff. And I think they do a lot of online stuff too. Yeah, so it's kind of like your perfect.
Why is it called Two Rivers?
They almost got divorced over that deal.
That was the ownership.
Came home mad.
We have technology company that's a medical device company called Airway Technology. We've got a tenant in the back here, this the light green called Protection Networks. They have been here along with the tenant called Compro Computer, that's the dark blue. They were tenants at Alpha Plaza, and they've been with us for a long time. Like Compro has probably been with us for 40 years. So, and they just moved over here, and they were like, we don't want, they have the space that is currently occupied now at Alpha Plaza by Urban Spikes. So they're used, they didn't need that. But it's nice. This is like a typical 80s built courtyard that actually is pretty nice. You put turf in here, so it's utilized by everybody.
You know, we'll have a weed in the turf.
Would it make
You're right.
sense, Clayton?
That's strange.
Would it make sense to put like maybe little cafe tables or something, or benches or something in here to make
Sometimes
this
they get
more
stolen, but
kind of a park like?
we did have one at one point. I must have walked away, but it's something that probably
You can anchor them in. You can.
I understand. So that would probably, yeah.
What'd you say?
We
Or just something, because it's a beautiful courtyard.
Putting green, yeah.
We have something at like Campbell Center. And then this is, would be something
chip
like
out
this
here.
as well. Obviously.
Golf, shipping.
Yeah, it's an enviable space.
Great idea.
Clearly,
But
it
I'll
would
ask
also
about
be
it.
nice.
So Brian is this is Brian Pappard, by the way. For those who have not met him, he leases a lot of our buildings for us, and he focuses on office flex and industrial for us. And occasionally he brings in his lackey Jared to handle the office side.
Yeah, if it gets too tricky.
It gets too tricky
Too
because officey is really office leases are really complicated.
Too many pages to the RFP.
Too many pages, too much stuff like that. So I'll let Brian. He's going to be here at this center only today, and then we'll see him on our next tours because we'll be doing more in some of these other buildings.
Mm-hmm.
This is just one of the buildings he has in this market. So.
I mean, my comments would be 50,000 square feet. Like you said, it was red brick, 80s, and it was completely gutted. So all these tenants came in. It was a shell, you know, here's your rate, here's your TI amount. So they were all built out from shell. We got it leased up pretty quick, but I mean, a lot of it is just the way the building looks. I mean, it's very attractive to these users. The other good thing, we've been able to renew 3 of the tenants already. So everybody that's come up, we've been able to renew them. And then we've got one that's up right now, which is Adept. And we've already got a proposal out to them. No reason to think we won't get them renewed. So,
That's this group right here.
correct.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So 9 tenants, 3 of them we've already renewed. We're working on the 4th here. The only vacancy that we're gonna have is up at the front where Alpha Locks is. The only reason they're not renewing, they were purchased by a bigger company, Digi Security, and that is just not the type of layout that they would ever be in. So they're not renewing.
They've been a tenant of ours probably for like 30 years, and they were at another building we're going to go to next, or shortly hereafter, called Midway Center. And they were a long-term tenant of ours. And we thought, well, why don't we move you to another spot
On Alpha Road.
on Alpha Road, since you're Alpha Lock. And their lease was up for renewal, and so we convinced them of that, which worked out really well because we backfilled their space. In other words, we got new tenants in their space for a lot higher rate than they were willing to pay. So their spot, tell us about their spot.
So their spot, obviously, the first thing we did is I went and talked to all the tenants. Said, we're gonna get this space back, we're gonna get this space back. Well, Access Healthcare, they're in 9,000 square feet right now. They were like, we want it. So we go over there, it's great, everything's great. We're gonna expand them, and what a great tenant to expand. So they have a it's feng shui on steroids. Like everything has to be
They're
in a certain spot.
Indian American. Like,
Yeah.
Back by Perot.
yeah, there's AJ is Jane Perot Ventures is what the sort of they call it. AJ is bringing in the cricket,
Yes.
all the cricket stuff that's coming to the DFW all throughout the U.S. is driven by AJ. He's the guy. He's the cricket guy from India or Pakistan, maybe.
Yeah, if you ever need seats.
Yeah.
So we were all excited. Well, they went and met with their consultant about I'm just going to call it feng shui or whatever, but they can't take the space because the elevation is higher than their corporate office.
Then the what?
Than their corporate
Than their
office.
corporate, than this office. It's higher, so it doesn't work functionally.
And that's not uncommon. Like sometimes for some Asian clients, they can't lease a certain space because the front door is in the wrong location.
And remember, they relocated their front door.
Yeah.
They relocated their front door.
They have to face east. It's a whole thing.
Yes. And they even relocated our leasing sign because it blocked something.
Yeah.
I mean, very interesting. Very interesting. So, thought we had it, doesn't work out. It was at our controls. I mean, what are you going to do about that? So, Sherry's management is right behind the vacancy we're going to get back. They're looking at taking that space.
They're in the Peach.
Yeah, sure.
And they do a lot of restaurant management.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You said that you had 3 leases that have already renewed. Were we able to get any increases on those
Absolutely.
leases?
Absolutely. And I don't think we even spent any money like on those. I think we bought some blinds for Compro or something like that.
Yeah.
Little small stuff.
Yeah.
So you have to keep in mind, we moved everyone here. We moved everyone to triple net, and then once we've done that, we built in these increases in rents, and it started out at like 2.5% to 3%, but some of these were getting 4% increases year over year on rent, which now exceeds inflation rate.
Yeah.
So it's really quite dramatic, and it's been kind of remarkable. We're like, if we can get it, let's get it.
Yeah, but I would say, I mean, all of them, at least, all the bumps were at least $1. Some of them were a little bit more. So it was like, all of them were over 6% increases, I want to say, the year one, and then, like Clayton was saying, 4% thereafter. That are built in.
So you increase your building value each year by that, which is kind of nice. So when you refi later on, you get the built-in increases. That's sort of how it,
The value of the building goes up over time, right?
yeah, it goes up over time.
And that's an interesting phenomenon that came up with the Dallas market. Like it used to be 25-cent bumps.
Yeah.
You know, it was always like a quarter. Oh, that's easy, 25 cents. And then it went to 3%. Then owners start, well, let's try 3.5, 4.
Yeah.
You know, and so 4 is kind of where it's crept up to. Unless you're in a huge warehouse, then maybe it's 3.5 or 3.
Yeah, but it used to not be that way. Like he said, it used to be like, I would do leases like $8, $8.25, $8.50, $8. That was how in a 5-year lease, and then you reset at the end of 5 years. I'd be like, okay, that's our starting point most of the time. 9.25, $9.50. You know, now we're just like whatever 4% of that. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it's a lot. It's a lot more
And
than a
that's
quarter.
industry-wide for this region, right?
For this market.
Yeah.
For
For this
yeah.
product,
Is it like that in office?
max is 3%, but that's on smaller spaces. Like the big ones are
2%. Yeah.
So the big spaces, like they have 3 floors.
like, it depends on how nice of a building you're in.
Uh-huh.
So if you're in like the brand new sexy stuff, you gotta and you're paying 65 triple net.
Yeah.
So 3% year over year, that's so big on the back end. So developers are taking a little bit less.
So the courtyard is really nice here, and we did have like the workout people use it a lot actually. So because it's very cool. It's just a nice refinement. But it was just like when we bought this building, it was just a dump. We weren't sure if we were going to find dead bodies or whatnot.
Do tenants pay for this? Or out of
This is,
share?
this is a CapEx, since it's not quite maintenance, yes, but we'll probably add something else, like a picnic thing or something like that. We haven't had a request that. I thought they would actually request it, but I guess they
Like a
use
table
size.
or,
Yeah.
benches.
We did,
Something to make it utilize the courtyard. 'Cause
but it's
Oh,
just
beautiful.
but I bet it would be cool if the workout people over here
Yeah, they do lunges out here.
would
Yeah.
come over here and do, some of the exercise things that
they do.
Everybody's
Yeah.
watching them, so they do one more extra push-up.
Yeah,
that's right.
exactly.
The pressure
So,
pump.
is there any spots that we can go just pop in real quick? Do you
We can
think?
go up to Alpha Lux.
Can we go Alpha Lock and see
We
that
can.
vacant?
It's 3,600 square feet.
Have they left already?
No.
Oh, they're still there?
No, they are, their lease was up, what is this? This is already May. Their lease was up the end of April. They're holding over from that.
Oh, yeah, and the holdover is profitable for us also, because that holdover rent's a lot higher too, right?
Typically it's 1.5.
1.5 times. Yeah.
What's holdover?
That's like if your lease is expired, you can go month to month after the expiration, but we have to pay higher rate.
Right.
Well, so are they not releasing, or is this space, or this is the Alpha Locks? Gotcha, okay.
Do you think you could get so Sherry's is looking at it, but what's the rate of this building, this space, Alpha Lot space called? What for?
I'm at 17
17?
net,
What are your nuts?
516.
So we were
What would
16.
it be like that one?
They're going to be 14. Like a lot of buildings are, like the typical flex in this market, it's like 14. Maybe some of them trying to get 15, depending on the size. But they don't look, I mean, give me a break, you know. So
I remember driving here with Brian when it looked like that. This is amazing. It looks so good.
Yeah,
now.
it's
Is
really
the
fun.
gym open to the public, or is
Yes.
it? Okay, so do a lot of people that work here go there?
I wouldn't think so, possibly. I don't know. But I remember initially a lot of their stuff was appointment only, like it's got to be scheduled. So that's why we were okay with it. Like we weren't going to have a ton of people just showing up to work out.
The traffic,
It's a little
you
bit
have enough parking spots.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a little more structured, but sure. I mean,
So let's go ahead and look at Alpha Lock space so you can kind of see what a quasi-retail type use is and looks like and finish. We built it for them, so it's pretty unique for their space, but you can see there's some cool elements that we kept intact, like the brick on the inside is kind of exposed brick element too. So anyway, you can walk around there and
We like the door.
A barn door.
I've got 2 barn doors in my house.
Yeah. Oh, it's a door. Oh, it's a door.
Yeah.
I thought it was a door. Okay, this is an office. Yeah. Hence the door.
And then this could potentially be another office as well. We just had
Landscape for it. They're doing a really good
How do
job.
you feel? How do you?
we can get some at the next place.
That's fine. I'll get some.
Okay, I want to explain something real quick to you guys. Here's some Sarah right here. So if we stop real quick. So when we bought this from an auction site, and we thought we bought the whole property, but these overhead covered parking, we don't actually own.
Who owns
We
that?
don't. In fact, we don't know who owns them.
That's bizarre.
Yeah.
Who's parking here?
Just the tenants. We're not charging for parking. We're just
Oh.
letting them do first come, first
And no one's
served.
come and been like, get your cars out of my parking spots?
Well,
We actually had an attorney whose focus is to find these what are called orphan tracts
Yeah,
and determine who the ownership is.
yeah.
They have no idea. They were never able to find them.
let's do an
And
adverse
so
possession.
They,
Are we doing an adverse possession of it?
maybe at some point. And so we think that there's a lot of railroads in this area, and we think that there was probably a railroad that owned this at one point, but we don't know who that is.
Well,
So
adverse possession means that we hold it out as our property by
Open
a
and
certain number of
continuous
years.
possession.
We will own it.
no, I know. Do you want to lead that charge?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, put
we-
the
for
signs
sure.
on it. Alpha Plaza Parking, or
That'd be
whatever.
great if
Yeah,
you could.
Chris,
Alpha Business Center
I don't
parking.
have the
Will you take
bandwidth
care
to
of
do
that?
it.
No,
So.
it's your idea.
Yeah, you're a lawyer.
Okay, let's keep going.
That would be great.
Overhead door put in, and sometimes we do this, and it just affords them the ability to bring in stuff. You know, it makes, especially in the back, this area is not desirable from a retail perspective, and you can use it for like the tenant that's in there. I'm trying to think who it is. Hold on, just a sec.
Allied Bioscience,
Allied Bio. Yes, they
Bring a log.
bringing bodies in there.
stuff like that. Okay, and I want y'all to see something real interesting. If you look at this building on our right, this is what it used to look like, and they're putting some money in to obviously make it look nicer and more modern. And go to the front, you can see we like this because it makes our building desirable too. But they're putting in a kind of a retail facade, and they're using an existing building. Just take a right here and go up on the tollway. You can see that they've redone the outside. It looks a lot better now. It's a lot more modern, you know?
Oh yeah. I like.
And that's gonna be retail space?
I don't know, but it's going to be nicer than what was there. It'll be leasable now.
Yeah. Who owns it?
I don't know.
Don't let them
Straight
take our
ahead.
parking. Get those signs up before they move
We're
in.
going to go to
Well, I mean,
tree is a building we bought a little over about 2 years ago. It's an office building, and like the past two buildings, it needed a lot of cosmetic work, and so we're in the process of doing that right now. While we bought it about 2 years ago, right after that, we had a fire in the building, and it did a lot of smoke damage, and that kind of threw us back in terms of our abilities to get it into shape that we wanted in. But now we're full speed ahead, and we're getting it in shape that makes it very easy to lease. Sarah's brokers, Ruth and Bryce, are the leasing agents for this building. And who's showing up, Sarah? So you'll meet Ruth and Bryce. They're a great team. Ruth has a medical leasing background, and we have some doctors in this building. It's more of a professional services building, and so she can talk the talk with them. And Bryce is just Bryce, and we love him for just being a great broker. This center is we're redoing the outside. We've done a lot on the inside, and it's a slow turning ship. One of the things, and Ruth and Bryce can talk about this, that's really important for these office spaces is to have your spec spaces ready. Spec spaces meaning they're just ready for someone to come in off the street. I love this space. Okay, let's see your credit. Let's go to leases, get them in there as soon as possible. If you don't have these spec spaces, it can take a couple of weeks or months to get it built out, and there's a good chance you'll get passed. So we have a loan with a bank, and they've financed all these spec spaces for us.
How many spec spaces are in this building?
We have two that we're working on now. We have one more that's going to be worked on once the existing tenant moves out, and it'll make it to where Bryce and Ruth can say, we've got all these different options available for you.
What's the ideal percentage of spec space in a building?
However much you can afford.
Really? So it's better to have spec space?
Oh yeah.
Rather than leave it open to where they can customize
in the
it.
office market, it's a different ball of wax in the office market. If you don't have spec spaces, you're not going to lease your space.
Okay.
Unless it's already in great shape as it is. Yeah. And so in this building, some things we're going to be doing. We're doing some external upgrades outside. We have already done some of it. And then we've done some internal upgrades as well to make it look a lot more modern looking and less dated. And the leasing team has done a great job. When we first acquired it, it was about 70% occupied, and we're now over 90%.
And with the new tenants we brought in, the rent's going up a lot too.
The rents have also gone up. We had tenant leases that were not triple net. We're bringing in triple net leasing, and so everything about this has been a real positive leasing experience, despite all the negative press that you hear in the market.
So are they all in now, or are we still cleaning up from the fire?
The fire is unfortunately a slow turning ship because the fire damage is above the ceiling grid of everyone's space. So we're having to come through on a Friday afternoon, and we say to them, when you come back on Monday, it'll be all clean, and you'll never know that what we did a lot of the work above the ceiling grid. It's really disgustingly dirty.
But the tenants can be in.
It's what?
The tenants can be in, and they are in.
Yeah, the tenants are already there. We're having to work above the grid
Yeah.
on the tenants when they're not there on the weekends and at night.
How much of a percentage did you lose a lot of tenants when the fire happened?
No, we didn't lose any tenants actually.
Okay, right, so you just added to the existing tenants.
Correct. Yes. The other thing to keep in mind, this building seems to be really good, and the spec space development, the spec plan is what it's called, works very well because I call this a country club building because the entrance to the tennis facility at Bentry is literally right next door to us. And so people that are members of Bentry or Preston Trail, if they want to have an office and they want to go, get away from home, this is their spot. We have a lot of professional services, attorneys, designers, medical. Melanie talked a while back at the last place about the parking. We typically don't like to have medical in a building like this because the parking is already tight as it is. So we're trying to move away from medical they're also a little bit harder tenant sometimes, and they have a lot of expensive upfront costs. They're very expensive tenants to have. They require a lot of parking, and we really can't do that. So we're trying to, because it's like, what is it, parking for medical? Is it 5 or 4? 5 spots per 1,000 square feet. Office is good at 3 spots per 1,000 square feet. So you have more likelihood to get office tenants. That the more office you have, the better parking. Retail is, I think it's 10. It's really hard. So you have, in certain cities, for example, you have to meet the parking requirements, or else they won't let you move in. So like at Alpha Plaza, you have to have a blend of non-retail and retail to meet the ratio.
Right.
Also, it makes sense because you've been to like Inwood Village and gotten frustrated with the parking there. That's what you don't want to create.
Inwood Village, Snyder Plaza, all of those. So is that across the board in medical, like any type of medical doctor, psychiatric, dermatology?
Yeah.
Okay.
But the leasing team's done a great job, by the way, because they found, they said, you get us the spots that are ready, we'll lease them up. And we'll have 2 of the vacancies you can see kind of mid-construction, which is kind of cool. And I think both of them will be ready by Memorial Weekend. I expect them both to be leased by the end of June.
And that's in this office?
Yeah.
If there were any vacancies.
This is just a random question, but do we know what caused the fire to begin with?
Well, the fire department and the fire officials said they didn't determine it, but it had to do with one of the doctors overloading the outlets with non-grounded machines. So
We did get insurance proceeds, so
it's about $1.5 million claim.
When did that happen?
It happened about 2 years ago.
did that end up covering all the costs? Really?
No, it did not.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get out. Okay, so I'm gonna talk. We're gonna go inside here, and then we'll talk about the external stuff. Why don't you use the restroom if you need to here? And so depending on their work, like whoever can get out here, 34 always has a live human on their tours, and it's really critical to know that because while it seems intuitive, not all the shops do that. So I'm gonna let the 3 of them kind of talk about this building and then we've got 2 vacancies we're gonna go show you. They're actually working on one of them, which is kind of fun. I think we should go anyways. Put our head in. So, and then just kind of like what works, what doesn't work, what has been your feedback, kind of like where you see how we talked a little bit about the spec office plan, and just kind of just elaborate on that, stuff like that. So.
Thank you guys for coming by. It's been great to work with Huntington because you guys have been super proactive on getting the building in great condition. So as you can see, the lobby's been updated, and that's huge. We've got 2 spec suites that are under construction, and feedback-wise, what we hear and constantly see in the market is we've got to have move-in ready spaces. And this particular building is kind of a smaller tenant building. We haven't had anything over really 3,000 square feet available. So we've got 2 spec suites that are under construction, both in that like 2,000 square foot range. But any vacancy that we have that's been basically move-in ready, we've leased pretty quickly. So right now, it's just the 2 vacancies that are under construction. We'll be getting some other vacancies back towards the end of the year, which we plan on doing spec suites there too.
And I've got floor plans of the sort of site plan that y'all have, and then actually recommended floor plans for the spec space.
Okay.
So those tenants have already told us they're not gonna renew?
We have one.
Okay.
Trust me, it would be
An upgrade, yeah.
it would be a nice change for the feel of the center.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is the spec space specifically designed for office, or is it like, I know that this has got some medical in it, and that's a little problematic with the parking, so are we doing spec for medical too?
So office and just basic layouts of what we're seeing is popular in this submarket. So a mix of office and open space. You know, this is really more professional services, so you want to have, mostly office, not a whole lot of open space.
That's what it's going to look like. These are the colors we put together. Suite 160 for office spaces. And then Suite 205, which is on the 2nd floor back over there, is another one we're building out as well. And we're going to go see them. This is what we have. And we have a 3rd suite that will be starting on probably in August. It'll be kind of up here along that way. Okay, so this is a really good segue point. I'm going to go ahead and open this up for a conversation now. The parking is hard here, right? We like medical, but not in this building per se. There's just, and we can have some, obviously, soft medical, what I call it. We actually are looking to try to buy that building where it says the word family right there.
Yeah.
The parking there is much better for medical, and it's also directly south
So you
of
could
the
move all the
Methodist.
people here over there and
So,
then add on.
so what we like to do typically is we like to buy buildings that are portfolio plays. So like we move the tenants from Alpha Plaza to ABC.
Right.
We said, this is not the space for you, the building for you. We will build out space for you and keep you a long-term tenant
Across the street. Yeah.
Same thing, this is just a different street.
No, I get it. That's what I was saying. You're gonna move
You know,
the
so
people
we
medical
could, we
here
could,
over
we could
there,
move it, because
and then expand it to be all medical. Or
not
as much as you
necessarily,
can.
as much as they want.
Yeah.
So what's the medical part? 5,000.
Would you redo that building too, I'm assuming, to kind of make it match?
We wouldn't necessarily, we would make it, we would modernize it.
Modern.
Yeah.
We're in talks with the owner to try to buy it. So, because it would make a lot of complementary sense, because, you know, we might even do that building, like a lot of the tenants in this building are migrating to triple net. Medical tenants typically don't like that because they are capped at their reimbursements.
Right.
So they like to have an all-in rate plus electric. That way they know exactly what their cash flow will be. Because the second we raise the rate, their price, the amount they take home goes down.
Right.
Because they're not going to get any more money unless they do something that's cosmetic or something like that.
Yeah.
So is that fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. Because we converted this building from plus C to triple net. We've been able to push rates. As we get new tenants in, we're going to continue to do that. But there is some kind of pushback from the existing tenants to convert from plus C to triple net. So we've dealt with that. You know, we'll probably continue to see that. But if we have a cheaper option across the street, then I feel like we can really leverage both opportunities.
And that's, we've done that time and time again, and time again has been a positive addition to our portfolio to have these, like, this is the really expensive building. If you want cheaper, there's one right here, and then one even cheaper than that is right here.
So one thing, like, this submarket, it lacks good ownership. So, I mean, if you kind of go up and down, like, there really isn't anyone that I think takes as much pride as you guys do in the building. So I think we've gotten more interest because it's just kind of like a desert here. With, you know, who owns
Definitely a
who's putting money
dead
into
zone.
buildings and all that.
So we have a lender that has behind us with all the improvements we're doing, whether it's the spec suites, which you'll see in a sec, but also what are called capital expenditures, which are like things you don't necessarily get rent for. Like we have these doors along the front here, because they've had so many deliveries in and out using the front door, the doors are banged up, and it's not safe because the doors were not staying shut. So we're going to redo the doors here in the front. We're going to,
Which will affect the air conditioning, which will affect insulation.
It'll be all
It'll
good
be
things.
it'll be an improvement, fixture improvement.
Because the goal for what I like to have is the outside to match the inside. The inside already looks really good. There's things we're going to do to make it better. Like if you look at the restroom door height, I don't know if you noticed that. That's a really commercial, best-in-class height for a door and look for a door. And if you look around here, you see here we got like residential doors right there. We've got these sort of hodgepodge. It's the subconscious stuff you don't notice, but the uniformity is key. We're also putting in what's called a wayfinder package. So like say you're going to Dr. John and he's in suite 120. You walk in, you're like, rather than keying into those things look cool, but they're completely worthless. But if you have a wayfinder package that has like a nice modern sign saying that away, you're like, oh, this is great, you know. So it's called a wayfinder package. It's just little details. We added the wallpaper, which we like, which is from our office. We added a green wall right behind here, and we're going to actually make those a little bit pop, a little bit better, because they're kind of awesome that we have lighting. We're going to come up with lighting. The goal is for us to upgrade. We've already done upgrades in the bathrooms. We did the doors. We're going to add doors across the building, uniform doors. And interior-wise, I'm trying to think what else there is.
So is that a line?
No, it's not. I think that's it for the inside. Well, we may put that, we'll do something with it. Yeah, so anyways.
Well,
you know what I mean?
can I comment? I remember coming in here when the building, when we first bought it, we were actually looking at it dark. It was just kind of, looked dated. And you guys have done an amazing job making it light and bright and crisp and modern. So what are some things, I know in addition to like the light fixture, did you, and painting it, new staircase, is that?
Well, I don't think we don't have anything budgeted for that.
Well, no, what you've done.
Oh,
It
yeah.
looks great,
We've
my
done
point.
Like, we've done like, all this is due. We added just more cosmetic stuff. All the lights, you know, the lights are all kind of the same color white.
Mm-hmm.
We added frosting along the front, so you just see a uniform frosting rather than all these mini blinds and stuff like that. It's just the subtle
It's a huge difference, just for somebody who notices. And then, well, did you do anything with the skylights, or were they already
They were
like
already
that?
there.
But it just pops now.
One of the
so.
things we're also doing is we're going to add our scent to when you walk in. It smells nice in here, you know. So it doesn't smell like glue. It smells like a white tea. I think the scent is. Got this from Jeff Gross.
Good.
And what's up with the
Here.
greenhouse?
Jeff
thing?
Gross,
I mean,
a friend of
I know
mine.
that adds some square footage, but is that original in the building, or did we add that?
What's that?
Original.
Chris, what?
These little kind of pseudo greenhouse looking things. on the
Yeah, that was
outside.
my first comment, but I think what you guys have done in terms of the paint and the lighting is offset
See,
that.
the slanted kind of.
You can't really
blasting.
do much with that. Really, because you,
Well, it'll change the square footage too, right?
No, we've got that square footage. You just have to go up and square it up like this.
Yeah.
That would be expensive.
Gotcha.
It's not.
But if you'd seen the before, I wish you had pictures of the before, because it was
We do have a
really.
picture. We'll show you eventually. We'll show you the pictures. Let's go look at the spec suites. Is this under?
Yeah.
Colors we're going to go with as well. Go ahead. Sorry.
Who's talking?
Bryson, Reed, and White are talking.
Okay. All right.
I know, I'm thinking, so
Glass, are these going to be all glass?
So it should be a door to skylight.
Door stuff.
Yeah, so you'll be able to get some natural light that comes through. This will be glass right here. So you'll have that will come from the conference center.
Sorry.
And then you'll work with me over there.
And
But
then
it's
that's
a
open
lighter
up there,
color.
and then that's break room back there.
No, this is not.
Y'all doing like bio? We don't have internet service.
No, so tenants do that on their own. So really the internet cabling is the only thing that they contract directly outside of OpEx.
Really low, so just.
I don't think we have a lot of them.
Really nice.
Yeah. We've had a couple good tours and a couple groups interested. So,
They updated
What's
and
the
modernized the
completion
lighting.
date?
Memorial Day. So really
Okay.
the end of
Oh, you said that, okay.
And so you think that you'll have somebody that will sign up for this?
And we've got groups that are very interested, and they take it as is. So we don't have a TI package on top of the spec suite, but
They can't customize it if they come in early and.
no. I mean, if they wanted to spend their own money, they could. But we market it as it's ready to go. We've been ready for you.
So this is not going to be our normal door height. We're going to go as high as we can, which will be right underneath there. I think it's like 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Are you gonna do like a floor at a time, or?
We're just going to do it
Door at a time.
door at a time. When we get all the doors built like down the road.
They're just kind of old rinky.
Well, they're also
Different than why it's a tour, so that.
doors feel higher.
So you and I can fit under Clayton too.
On the upper floor, they're not quite 6-8 doors either. Yeah.
When was this built? Set 1970s?
80s.
When people were shorter?
Something like 12 to 15. And this is this right side of the space. So it's a great spot because it opens up. The tennis facility at entry is like right that way, right there where that telephone pole is on the right. So you got good access. Pretty nice on that side of it.
And we designed it where you can have a demising wall to make it 2 suites, or you can just do one big one. So we put the break rooms in strategic areas where if you had both of them, it would be fine to keep it. One's kind of more of a coffee bar, and one's an actual break room. But I mean, our hope is that we get one tenant that will take
To take up the whole space. Yeah.
How big is this space?
It'll be like 45.
Well, in total, it'll be like 6,000, about
Whoa,
6,500.
that's a
If
big
we
space.
take this along with the bohat space, that should be giving back.
So what would be like an ideal tenant to take over both spaces?
I mean, we see a lot of like professional services, so like insurance, financial investors,
Some oil and gas.
oil and gas groups. Yeah.
People are up at like Preston Trails or at Victory. People that run their own businesses that just kind of want to be
play
close
golf
to
at
home,
lunch.
want to be close
Right.
to the job. Yeah.
So we'll start on this probably in August. She moves out at the end of July. So
Oh, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so y'all will market it as one?
We'll
we already are.
work it as like that plan shows you can take 4,500 or 2,500 or both.
See what it used to look like.
But I like the way it hides the.
So yeah, this is what it used to look like, and we hit it. And we built it up, and so it makes it more uniform. And so the goal is to try to make a more interesting front entrance. So we may carve out some of this concrete, put some beds in here with newer pots. We're going to put doors that are fresh and clean doors. And
Split this out with a truck. You can all get in the back of
I
that.
like that you put the bars there, got rid of that, hokey.
and we'll have cool lighting during the evening hours. We're also making sure that every tenant knows they can't deliver things to the front door. We have a back door by design so they don't mess up these doors. They'll mess up these doors all the time.
I've come up with a potentially.
And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna redo the landscaping outside. We're gonna keep these trees. They don't bother me, but we're gonna make it more uniform. Get rid of these crepe myrtles, make them just look nice. And then the final thing we'll do is we're gonna clean up all the, it's called crocodile type spalding on the parking lot. We'll clean them up, resurface it, and stripe it to look new. So
I have an idea. Since this is a similar architectural feature on the inside, somebody commented on that, like it looks like that kind of weird thing. You could potentially add a similar, more subtle architectural element on the inside to complement what you've done on the outside.
yeah, that's a good point. So added a nice sign on the tollway for the name of the building called Ventry Place. And you can see right up here, it's very well lit up at night. And everyone can see it while they're stuck in traffic. So we have in front of tollway signage. It looks really nice. We're also going to finish this up. The plan was to put additional landscape, kind of sort of soften it up a little bit.
Well, around the sign.
Yeah.
That's nice, that'll be a nice touch.
So a lot of the stuff is just dumpy stuff, like Ruth talked about. The ownership's not that great, and they don't really necessarily care. But this is like a new building right here that's actually pretty nice. As you see, and they have some native landscaping. We'll probably do something more native, not like this per se, but just native in general. They redid this one right here and did a nice job with this one, I thought. This is one we had looked at. This is too run into the ground. This one's may still be for sale, but it's just a lot of work to redo it.
It's like it was designed by I.M. Penn.
Well, you just put solar panels on it.
The building that we're interested in buying, and you can see right to our right, that's the building that we were just in.
Oh, okay.
And so that one is more office type tenants. This is more of a medical parking.
Yep.
And I don't know if you noticed it, but there's Methodist professional offices right directly north of here.
Where I got my surgery.
So you have a really good. This building needs a lot of work, and it's not a lot of work. It just needs a lot of attention spent to it.
Yeah.
And the guy just owns it. He wants to sell it and move to his ranch in Melissa, Texas. So we're in the process of having phone calls with him to try to get it potentially under contract. And the lender would be the same lender as across the street. It would be the same deal. We would
we would have them give us money for making the exterior look nice, the common areas inside look nice, and then getting the vacancies built out like Bryce and Ruth and Wyatt recommend.
Do we have time to go look at it?
No, we don't.
Oh.
And I don't want to get your hopes up.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Don't want us to
This
follow
would
it.
this would be the before picture.
yeah, so let's go to the Midway Center spot now. Okay. And this final spot, we're gonna. The reason we like this one is because it just plays that portfolio thing, and we can accommodate them. That's going to be a more expensive building than this one from a lease rate perspective. So people like to have options, you know. And we like, for example, the doctors. We're going to say, this is what your rate's going to be. We don't want to pay this. Okay, well across the street we accommodate you and just kind of shuffle them out and bring them in, the new tenants. It's kind of a nice, easy game.
So I'm assuming before we started redoing that building, it was similar to this building as far as like just, you know, the rate of grossness, maybe,
Yeah.
for lack of another word.
Yeah.
So what makes this property less of an expensive lease site compared to the other one? Like, I mean, once we get in there, assuming we do, I don't know what.
Well, we're probably
and we
gonna
do things like we did with this one, or would we just not spend as much money for the finish up?
It depends on what the lender comes up with, honestly. But I can tell you that we have triple net leases across the street.
Mm-hmm.
Medical folks don't like those.
So you purposely want to keep it lower rent.
We'll do them a plus E rent.
And more parking too.
More parking.
Yeah,
it just
no,
makes
I
it
know that.
easier. So it won't be that much of a discount, but I think it is because it's a different kind of rate, you know?
Yeah.
It's called Midway Center. And we've owned this one for, let's see, how long have we owned this?
Chris, y'all listen?
Yes, we're listening, Clark.
We're going to Midway Center now.
Yeah, I heard.
We've owned this
That's
since
where the meadery is.
1997. And you can see, I think the thing you need to look at, you need to see the before and after, because the before is pretty pathetic. The after, you can see like the parking lot, that's kind of what Ventry Place is going to look like. It looks clean and freshly striped and new. And
So this is more of a property like the first one we saw.
correct. So this is where Alpha Lock used to be.
Gotcha.
And this one is all retail.
Oh.
We have,
so
well,
more
I'm sorry, we
parking.
may have like one or two flex type of uses, but it's
And
mainly
there you
retail.
can't tell there's a lot more parking
Yeah.
here.
So you can see, because the problem with this center is that parking is really hard.
Do what?
The parking is tight.
And do we own this parking along the back?
Yes. Everything you see on the site plan is what we own. So employees park in the back, patrons park in the front.
They have an edible arrangement.
There's some seating, and it's blank space. Now where it says leased, that goes there, and that goes there. Yeah, this
So in this center, Midway Center, I want you to see something that's kind of cool. If you look to the historical occupancy, this building was just a dump. And we had dumpy, low credit tenants that were in this building paying low rents. So like in 2014, it was 42%. 2019, it was 68%. We considered it full at 70% typically. Now we're up to 96% with the highest rates we've ever gotten. And we have someone that wants that last space.
Wow.
That's an existing tenant who wants to expand.
That's great. Which one?
A gun shop.
Where's
Yes.
the, I see the wallpaper and the 818 financial. Are we on the Midway Center?
Yeah. It's
Wags.
called Wags Gun.
Wags Guns.
Background checks.
Are we doing background checks in this gun shop?
No, the back.
So
They
they
are.
want to expand over
They
here?
they are the preferred gun vendor for all the police departments in Dallas.
Wow. Good.
So they get all the policemen come to Wags Guns to get their gun and have their gun serviced.
You want a gun? They sell guns for nice ladies too. Little pistols.
Nice ladies. Nice. I don't think I've ever been called a nice lady.
It'll work.
Hughes, who you met earlier, and then her business partner, Eric Blaze. And so he's going to meet us here. So he's a really good guy. And between the two of them, they have two more or less all retail type centers, so that they are aware of what's going on. They work with Brian Pafford for the other building in case there's some sort of potential use that would be better suited for another building.
So are they specific to retail spaces or
Yes.
retail and flex space? And then Sarah's company does medical and
Really,
office?
mainly office, but
Okay.
Ruth just happens to know medical from a prior job, so she
Gotcha.
knows the personalities. And that's, I mean, they can attest to that they're just, doctors are different.
Oh, wind's coming out of the north.
On Midway Center, this Midway Road has been under construction for I don't know how many years. And our leasing team has gotten it to almost 100% occupancy despite all the war zone along Midway Road, construction-wise.
Nice. Did y'all know, I found this out, that Dallas has 3 of the most dangerous highways.
Family apartments being built.
That's gonna be great.
That'll help your retail.
Yeah. Their retail's a lot more expensive too. And if you wonder what, like, they're building a sidewalk on here, so you know we're kind of like at their beckoning call. So what I'd like to do, I don't know if Eric, if he's here or not. Let's see.
Right.
Oh, this is where the meat is.
The
This is where
meadery.
the meadery is, and
Are they open? I'd love to see inside.
No.
They're not.
They open like Thursday through Sunday in the afternoon. So that's smart.
So you can see the different types of uses. I think there's Eric right there. That's him. Yeah.
Look at the clock place. Bring your stuff here to get fixed.
Let's just have
Why do you, Clayton? Why did you think this is leased up so much better than Alpha Plaza?
I really don't. I think it's just
Really?
compact, nice, and unique little center. On a team with Alpha Plaza, and then they work in conjunction with Brian Pafford, who y'all met earlier, and clicking along. So it's really nice.
We only have one vacancy currently, which we can walk down and go see. It's a little over 1,800 square feet, and we are pretty close with Wegg's Guns on getting them expanded into it. So I think we're almost there on that deal.
They're just intending to use it for storage, or?
It's going to be like gunsmithing,
Oh.
and so it's going to be kind of a separate workshop. And then that's what we have on the table to them is they wanted a turnkey deal. We were back and forth on allowance, and we said we could turnkey it, but in order to do that, we're going to get some more terms. So we're going to get, it's going to be a 7-year deal, and then we're going to tack 3 more years on their existing lease. So
That's kind of how you do the drill. So someone asked a really good question as to why this center is so full and Alpha Plaza is not. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit further on that?
I mean, in my opinion, I think I can't remember. I didn't lease this project when I came on. I can't remember what the occupancy was when you guys bought it. It was down. I think the frontage is probably a driving force in that. I mean, this is a lot more well-trafficked
Yeah, Midway's more
street
traffic than Alpha.
I don't think it's really a rate issue. I mean, in fact, I think there's probably a couple tenants in here that are a little low on the rate, and you know, I think when Bailey's Bridal is a good example. I think they're sub 12 maybe.
Yeah.
Plus triple net. So I think now that the road construction's finished, you know, I think when they come up for renewal, you'll be able to bump them up closer to what we're quoting, which is 15 plus triple net.
And then it looks like they're finally making progress across the street. There used to be an office park across the street, and they're going to build like a 4 or 5-story apartment complex right there.
That's great.
There was offices.
I'm telling you. Park Cities.
There's red brick. There's 2-story.
Yeah, Melanie actually. I can't remember. Midway Atrium's the 3-building project that Vista, yeah.
And like something to keep in mind, like this sign right there.
Yeah, that's what I was just reading.
It's huge, and they only allow signs like this on LBJ Freeway now. We were grandfathered. It's grandfathered, and then we went into the town of Farmers Branch and said, "We'd like to do this design. Can we keep this existing sign?" They're like, "Sure." And we're like, "Thank you very much."
Okay, and then you left.
Yeah, we left.
So much fun dealing with a small city.
I had the same question.
No
So
food here, huh?
With the
No.
apartment building coming in, do you think y'all would be open to restaurants in here?
I think we've been down that road. I think our problem here with the restaurant is the parking. We're a little bit underparked, so that's kind of hamstrung us.
What is the parking?
We do
per
have a grease trap for
thousand?
the
Let me
Red Bull
refresh
rink that's
my-
right there.
Oh, nice.
So
Where's that? The meadery has
Only
a
3 per thousand.
the meadery has a grease trap, right? No, it doesn't.
No,
Edible
they don't,
They don't do any
arrangements
food.
does.
McMeadery doesn't do any food.
they just do mead. So.
which I think Clayton you have tasted.
No, it's good. No, it's not. They have amazing. They have amazing root beer mead, which tastes just like root. It's a really good root beer, and it has alcohol. It's amazing.
I think
really
if,
good.
to answer your question, I think if we can figure out something with the parking, I mean, we're only at 3 per thousand, which is real low. And I mean, it looks, right now it looks underparked. That's not always the case. But I mean, if we could figure something out.
Do patrons not use the behind parking, or is that just for people who work here?
It's really just for the people that work here. It's pretty limited.
But it's included in the 3.
Correct.
Yeah, it's tight.
I mean, I think we've thrown around ideas. There's a building behind us, right?
You can always do that.
You could always, price has got to be
You never
right.
know.
But yeah, I mean, I think with that coming in, it's it's going to create probably some more interest in who's going in here.
So something that we did when we redid it, everything used to be that, see where Weg's gun is? That was the profile, it was the height wise. And so we popped up some of these things that are fake height things. So there's one right here, and it just kind of breaks it up and makes it less round. The architecture firm was HFF, and they're the ones GFF, sorry. GFF. Anyways, GFF, and they came in, I know, and they came in and like said, do different kind of awnings, do different kind of textures, so I think they spec'd out the landscaping, so these are all natives. Like, I love the desert willow. I think it's like one of the prettiest ones. Like, this is so hardy. And, yeah. And so these are all like, this is a west sun spot in the summertime. It get really hot.
Yeah.
And everything can pretty much die, but it looks really healthy. It's really healthy here. And we've had to redo a lot of the parking to accommodate handicap and just make it look nicer and cleaner. You see, this is like 5 years out after having, maybe 7 years out after having done the spray and clean up and the restriping. It still looks good,
Yeah.
This is what we're gonna do at Bentry Place.
Okay.
So it looks sharp and clean and like someone takes care of it, so
Is the building behind us available right now?
we'll see.
Oh,
I don't think it's technically on the market, but
Yeah.
everything's for sale.
Everything's for sale, yes. So,
Same look?
well, it's not the same. It would be more like ABC.
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you could do a lot of things.
Yeah, you could do a lot of, you can combine it.
Kind of looks like what this did
Yeah.
prior to.
So you want to show us the wallpapers? Not the wallpaper, the vacant spot
Yeah,
real quick?
the one vacancy
Yeah.
we have in there. I feel like we could have had that 100% lease time. We've been a little picky on who we want to go in there. Hey, have you been to Austin Grinder? Was that your first time?
No, we've been.
It's actually pretty I like it when I'm in the
Are they percentage rent or you guys just keep flat?
We're not that.
Who was here?
You know what? I do not know.
It's been vacant for a long time.
Okay. I think it's been vacant since we took over.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of a challenging space. That's why Legs seemed like, the best fit for it, if we could make the numbers work,
Yeah.
just because it's
When you get back in this though,
very long and narrow, and it's kind of hidden, and so it's hard to it's hard to pitch the people on, here's your retail visibility, right? And there's not a whole lot with how narrow it is that you can do. So I mean, it's.
Can you turn it back into a flex, office flex, kind of a, just.
Next door is that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm just saying, if it's, is that what's keeping it from?
No, I just think it's like everybody that comes across wants a little more visibility.
So does this have bathrooms and a break room or anything?
It's got one restroom.
One bathroom, okay.
And you got like a little stub right there if you want to have some.
And this is where you're gonna put the Wegs guns, right?
Right.
Okay, this is almost done.
It's right there.
Okay, yeah.
We pretty much
That's what I thought.
solved the problem, which was getting over the turnkey versus the allowance. And I mean, it's, you know, these small spaces are weird because they end up costing more than you would probably think to do the finish out, just because it's small scale and, you know, you're not doing it via economy of scale or anything like that. So I think that's a good deal. I mean, you guys are getting more term and, you know, actually it works out better at the end for you.
So this would be 100%
That's who we have in the proposal on the table too. So they have their shop over there right now, and this is gonna be, they wanna move into actually doing like gunsmithing and custom gun work, so it's gonna be kind of a separate workshop.
Get it really grand.
That's
You make
perfect.
it.
I was like, what is gunsmithing?
Yeah, I mean, you guys can talk to Jim about that. He's
You gotta
very well
fix the guns
versed what they're
and,
doing over there.
you know,
do the repairs
all the
and-
parts, manufacture little parts for guns.
Yeah, and I mean, they do custom
Guns.
guns, crazy
We
looking
didn't grow up with guns in Ohio.
handles and whatever else.
Every vehicle out there on the farm.
But we actually, you know, we have a use across the street. A1 Engraving, they sell vintage rifles and guns across the street. So,
And there's a gun range
right next door. So
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel
This
the
is our
background.
Newton property.
I know.
And you get, you know, they're highly secure over there, obviously, with what they're doing, so
Yeah.
that's,
this is a very secure center.
you get a free security element there with that, so.
We have to worry about anybody coming in here and shooting it up.
They would gladly shoot them away.
Yeah.
But it's just a cute center. I mean, this is probably one of
Yeah, I
the.
like how the awnings kind of replicate what was done on the front wall when you have the
Thank you
drive
for
up.
noticing
Yeah, I
that.
noticed that
Absolutely.
too.
Love a theme.
We do that. There's sort of things we carry with us to different buildings.
We used to do that with the building you live on,
What's that?
with that brick.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, it's very impressive of what this looks like now compared to
Yeah.
what it was.
So like the guy that was the architect, the lead architect, GFF, he said, I love this building. We're like, really? He's like, it's kind of got this North Park brick to it that's really just classic. And you're like, it totally does. And
His
I'm
name
like,
isn't Jeff Stouffer, is it?
No,
Okay.
he doesn't.
anyways, it was just kind of like, it was his vision. We're
Different
like,
firm.
okay, we're
Oh,
all in. And then,
Okay, so the mini blinds here are okay.
well, we'll probably, no, then they're never okay. But
This
gunsmiths
is
probably
okay,
don't
this
care.
is great for touring. This is,
Uh-huh.
you know, not everybody's gonna come here, and it's the most beautiful space I've seen, but it's clean.
Yeah. yeah.
So it's interesting that we're seeing a lot of similar businesses in these two types of rentals. You've got the bridal shop like you did it at Alpha. You've got the wallpaper place like you did at Alpha. You've got the studio like you did at ABC, I think.
Alpha.
So did we just find that those types of businesses are,
Gravitate to you?
yeah.
Well, the price point and then the use, and then these are centers that are not able to be, you know, online to death.
Right.
Because It's just more service centric, you know.
And I mean, they're kind of different, and like Bailey's Bridal is going to be a different demographic than the bridal shop, but Alpha's a little more higher end, in my opinion, like as far as, you know, similar types of businesses, but I don't think the people going to Bailey's Bridal are going to also go look at getting a custom dress.
We have a bridal studio that was at another building that was like the price point for teachers, you know, like they had the basic but nice quality, inexpensive teacher budget wedding dresses. This is middle. The one at Alpha was over one of those buildings near Carla's office on West Lovers.
Yeah,
And so that's higher end.
right.
And that's why they fit better over there as well. It's more of the private school.
Well, okay, so to come get my wedding dress, you go to Wegs, I might go to a gun store and make a left.
Yeah, exactly.
Make sure the wedding's
Well, the father bride goes to Wegs and the daughter goes.
Exactly, they probably have to entertain the father of the bride and get him distracted.
Feed him some meat.
Give him some meat and a gun.
Anything else for Eric?
No.
No, thank you so much, Eric.
Of course, it's great meeting all of
We
you.
grilled Melanie. She was our first victim. So
She called me and she was just like,
yeah. So she got you got beat. So no, she was.
so I wanted you to grow Packer and get him all sideways.
He was really on the spot today.
Yeah, it was very,
He's been in the
very
office.
well done.
Okay.
I know, did you notice his red shoelaces?
Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that.
He's a shoe guy.
No, she had blue shoelaces.
Was it blue shoelaces?
He's got all kinds of.
Yeah.
of
It was
he
blue
is- he's a
shoelaces
shoe
and
guy.
actually, I was, never seen that before.
Tomorrow when we get out there, ask him where his red shoelaces are.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Thanks.